Whenever I have physical contact with the school belle, my test score goes up by 10 points. To get more physical contact with her, I followed her around every day fawning over her, and became the most famous simp in the whole school. The school belle finally had enough, and warned me coldly, "You're so annoying, get away from me, okay? I'm begging you." Later I found out touching that girl from the next class, who's an edgy streetwear chick, has the same effect. So I gave up on the school belle right away, and followed the edgy girl around begging her to hit me. A month later, the school belle finally couldn't hold it anymore. Her eyes slightly red. "I like you. Stop being self-destructive and chasing that delinquent, okay?" A transfer student joined our senior year class. She's quiet and gorgeous, and super excellent at studying. She got first place in the whole grade on her first monthly exam. Too bad she has a gloomy personality, and gives off a clear stay-away vibe. No one dares to get close to her. A total nobody like me. Would obviously never have any interaction with her. But lately I've realized that whenever I have physical contact with her, good things happen to me. First, when I walked past her and brushed against her by accident, I found 10 Yen that very night. Then I fell while running during recess, and she helped me up. I got a free meal at lunch that day. These are no big deal though. It's just a few yuan after all. Not exactly a huge stroke of luck. Until the second monthly exam. That day I grabbed my pencil case and walked out of class. Someone pushed me from behind out of nowhere. I stumbled and slammed hard into Shen Qingmeng. Shen Qingmeng held me up with one hand. "Easy." Her voice was cold and crisp, like a clear spring in the mountains. I walked away with a red face. I didn't think much of this little incident. But when the monthly exam results came out, I was totally shocked. I actually scored 510 points. Ever since I started high school, my score has never been higher than 500 points. No matter how hard I studied, I couldn't break this curse. But this time the curse was broken. I was scared it was just a false alarm. I added up the scores again nervously. It was really 510 points. I clenched the test paper in my hand. I was so excited I almost cried. To test if my good luck was really related to Shen Qingmeng, I decided to try again before school ended. Shen Qingmeng is extremely cold. It's hard enough to even say a word to her, let alone touch her. I waited all evening but didn't get an opportunity. When evening self-study ended, Shen Qingmeng picked up her bag and walked out. I stuffed exercise books into my bag carelessly, getting ready to chase after her. But by the time I slung my bag over my shoulder and ran out of class, she was already gone. It was dismissal time, the halls were packed. Students were rushing home, flowing past me like a tide. I couldn't find Shen Qingmeng at all. Even worse, some idiot left a mop on the floor. I tripped over the mop and fell flat on my face. My phone flew 2 meters away. My phone? "Don't step on it! Don't step on it!" I knelt on the ground, fumbling around. My vision was blurry. No one paid attention to me until a figure stopped in front of me. A guy next to her snickered. "Isn't that your little fanboy? Why is he all messed up like that?" The girl above me stared at me for 2 seconds and stepped back coldly. None of my business. Like nothing had happened. She walked away with that guy. My breath caught in my throat. My chest felt tight and bitter. Yuan is the girl I've had a crush on for ages. A month ago, I worked up the courage to confess to her. She looked down at me, didn't take my gift, and asked, "What did you get on this monthly exam?" 499, she curled her lip. "Sorry, I don't date idiots." I didn't expect her to say something so mean. I was heartbroken for a long time. It's been a month since then. I've mostly gotten over it. But her behavior just now still embarrassed me. The guy with her just now is Wang Ling, the second top student in her class. Are they dating? They make a good couple anyway. People walked past all around me. I took a deep breath to calm down and reached for my phone. A fair, slender hand picked it up before I could reach it. I looked up just as that hand held the phone out to me. I reached out to take it. The second our fingertips touched, a loud thud came from the end of the hallway. Wang Ling's voice rang out across the whole campus. Yuan just face-planted hard on the ground. The next day when I went to school, I passed by Yuan's classroom. I saw Yuan by the window looking super pissed. I felt so damn good inside. Shen Qingmeng is totally my lucky charm, as long as I have physical contact with her. Good things just keep happening to me. I have to grab this opportunity and get in touch with her. When I got back to my classroom, I started thinking about how to get close to Shen Qingmeng. I can't just keep running into her by chance all the time, right? I still need to get on good terms with her. During break, Shen Qingmeng was reading at her seat. Her desk mate happened to be away. I wandered over, glanced at her book. It was Edgar Allan Poe. Oh, I know who that is. See? We already have a common topic. I plopped down right next to her. Shen, you like Edgar Allan Poe too? You have great taste. I love every single one of his stories, especially that one, My Uncle Jules. I've read it so many times. Shen Qingmeng stared at me confused and said nothing. Then she closed her book and said calmly, "Is there something else you need?" "Nope, just wanted to chat with you." "Sorry, I'm a bit busy right now." She looked at me. There was barely any emotion in her dark eyes. She's just reading a leisure book, busy my ass. But she's my lucky charm after all. I don't dare snap at her. I complained to myself for a bit. I smiled politely and backed off, and went back to my seat. I sat there for a while. Suddenly I felt something was off. Why doesn't she like My Uncle Jules? I pulled out my phone and searched it. And there it was, bold as day. Auteur Guy de Maupassant. First time making a move on my own. Total massive fail. I was too embarrassed to go talk to her again. Until the weekly quiz results came out, I stared at my total score of 510. I started sweating like crazy. Without Shen Qingmeng's top student vibe, my grades obviously stopped improving again. I can't keep going like this. I clenched my fist and made a cup of bubble tea, getting ready to go find Shen Qingmeng. But this is so awkward. Whatever, I'll go at noon. When noon came, whatever, I'll go in the afternoon. When afternoon finally came, oh no, the bubble tea went bad. Shen Qingmeng was playing badminton at the court in the evening. The court was surrounded tight by spectators. Lots of boys came in groups to cheer for the girls they like. What a perfect opportunity. I bought a bottle of drink at the snack shop, found a gap in the crowd and squeezed through. All the boys around me were from class 2. Wang Lin glanced at me and didn't bother talking to me. Look, Wen Yuan already rejected him clearly, and he still won't give up. Waiting to watch the show. See if Yuan will even talk to him. I could only pretend I didn't hear them, squinted to look for Shen Qingmeng. The round just ended. The players all scattered and walked toward the edge of the court. Yuan walked right toward me. He paused when he saw me. Then he looked at the drink in my hand and frowned. "Why are you here again?" I was stunned for a second. That's when I realized I actually bought peach soda without even thinking. That's Yuan's favorite flavor. Every time he played ball before, I would buy soda and wait for him. Just now at the snack shop, I just grabbed it without thinking. I didn't think too much about it. This really does look bad. I squeezed the soda bottle tight. My tone was stiff. "Don't be so full of yourself. I'm not here for you."
Oh, really?
"Suit yourself." He twitched his lip a little and walked toward Wang Lin like he didn't care. From the corner of my eye, I saw a good-looking couple chatting and laughing. Their voices were just loud enough for me to hear. Looks like someone still hasn't given up, huh? None of my business. I told you I don't waste time on idiots. Calling me an idiot over and over. Wow, you're so superior, huh? I took a deep breath. I looked at Yuan and called out. He turned around, still wearing that arrogant look on his face. "One day I'll make you. You'll see who's the real idiot." He froze for a second, shocked that I dared talk to him like that. He quickly turned around to talk to someone else, didn't even bother to respond to me. I wasn't mad at all. Turned around and ran toward Shen Qingmeng. My top priority right now is to boost my grades, not waste time on jerks like him. For some reason, a bunch of girls from our class were sitting on the ground drinking water. Only Shen Qingmeng was walking off the court looking dejected. No one handed him a towel or water. No one even paid attention to him. I ran dozens of meters to catch up with him. I handed him the water, slightly out of breath. He looked a little surprised, then gently shook his head after a second. "Take it," I said, shoving it at him. He looked down at the soda bottle, and surprisingly didn't refuse again. "Thanks." "No problem. I came specifically to watch you play. Good job." A gust of wind blew across the playground. His damp bangs swayed slightly in the wind. Shen Qingmeng stared at me for a while, no emotion showing in his eyes. "It's over," he said. "What's over?" I turned to look and saw people were already taking down the scoreboard. Our class lost to class 2 by 10 points. No wonder Shen Qingmeng looked so down. It's not your fault, you know? When I turned back, Shen Qingmeng was already far away. I hurried to catch up. "It's not on you, you were just filling in last minute. The loss has nothing to do with you." He didn't respond, just kept walking forward silently. "Have you eaten yet? Let's go get food together." He ignored me. "How about I bring you breakfast tomorrow morning? The red bean buns from the shop downstairs my place are so good." He finally got fed up and stopped walking. "What do you even want from me, classmate?" I stopped quickly, too. "I just think you're a really nice person. I want to be friends with you. Let's introduce ourselves properly. I'm Jiang Hansheng." He took a small breath. his tone cold. I know who you are, Jiang Hansheng. And for the record, I don't need friends. Can I go now? Who doesn't need friends? That's crazy. I grinned, acting like a total suck-up. Then is it okay if I decide we're friends on my end? He probably thought I was hopeless. Sighed, turned around and left, walking faster and faster. I chattered non-stop the whole way, following him, until we got to the equipment room next to the court. He went inside to get his bag. It was super crowded inside. I couldn't push my way in, so I had to shut up for the time being and waited for him outside. A few girls from our grade leaned against the wall, snickering at me. You're not trying to date Shen Qingmeng, are you? I didn't know them at all. Getting asked out of the blue like that. I panicked a little. Pfft, no way. What's wrong with caring about a classmate? The girl smirked. I'd advise you to stay away from him. Do you know why he transferred here? I shook my head. Doesn't matter if you don't know. All in all, that guy is a total jinx. Anyone who hangs around him gets bad luck. Everyone who was close to him before ended up badly. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try. The girl slung her bag over her shoulder and left chatting and laughing with her friends. I stood there staring as they walked away. It felt like a huge rock was dropped in my chest. My stomach was all twisted up. When I turned around, I saw Shen Qingmeng was already out. I had no idea how long he'd been there, or if he heard what that girl said. I froze on the spot for a second, not knowing what to say. Shen Qingmeng glanced at me, slung his bag over his shoulder silently, eyes downcast, hiding all his emotions. Stop following me, thanks. He walked toward the school gate against the evening wind, his back looking so lonely. Like a tiny speck of dust, I suddenly knew I couldn't just watch him leave like that. Shen Qingmeng, I don't know what happened before you transferred here. All I know is hanging around you won't bring bad luck. You're actually a lucky charm, duh. I yelled at the top of my lungs toward his back. I'll bring you red bean buns tomorrow morning. He paused for a second, didn't turn around, and disappeared into the crowd. The next morning, I waited in line for ages, just to get hot, fresh red bean buns, and rushed into the classroom. Shen Qingmeng was already there. I panted as I handed her the red bean bun. Here's your red bean bun. A low murmur of oohs spread across the classroom. I ignored them and kept looking at Shen Qingmeng. She paused for a second. She didn't take it, just rummaged for a book in her desk. She didn't even glance at me. I felt a little awkward. I held my pose and said in a low voice, It's really tasty. Just try it, okay? There was a long silence. She pulled out a book and flipped it open. She looked at me with a slight frown. I said I don't need it. I looked into her eyes. Her rejection was super obvious. No room for argument at all. I waited in line for an hour to buy this, you know? My pride took a little hit. I had to pull my hand back. I smiled awkwardly. The morning self-study bell rang. I ran back to my seat. I hurriedly dug out my Chinese textbook. I read out loud when the head teacher walked in. I put the book down after he left. I squeezed the red bean bun in my hand, frustrated. Shen Qingming is so hard to win over. A few girls nearby winked and snickered. Jiang Hansheng, are you chasing Shen Qingmeng? I looked up, ready to explain. Then I thought it was pointless. I didn't bother saying anything. The whole group burst into noisy laughter. You're so brave to hit on her, wow. Who cares about that lousy red bean bun anyway? If you tried to woo me with garbage like that, I'd ignore you too. I got a little pissed off. Who's chasing you? Even if you chased me, I wouldn't want you. I wanted to talk back, but I just pressed my lips together in the end. I lifted my eyes to stare at my textbook. Actually, everyone called me smart when I was little. I was top of my class all through elementary and middle school. After I started high school, I get all the study concepts perfectly, but I always lose points for no reason on every exam. I became the guy everyone says no matter how hard he tries, he's still a dumb idiot who never improves. It feels like I'm always a little short on luck. That's why I'm trying so hard to get close to Shen Qingmeng. I just want a little bit of that luck. It's just that my awkward behavior must look so ridiculous to other people. When I thought of this, I felt a little sad for no reason. I pressed my lips together. Tears plopped down onto my hand one after another. I didn't notice everyone around me had gone quiet all of a sudden. All those girls had shut up until a clear voice came from above me. Why are you crying? I looked up in shock. Shen Qingmeng was standing next to my desk. Looking down at me, it was drizzling lightly outside the window. Her body blocked the light from the lamp. Half her face was hidden in the dim shadow. I couldn't make out her expression. No, nothing. I wiped my eyes to cover it up. She didn't ask again. She sighed, her gaze falling on the red bean bun in my hand. You waited in line for an hour. I nodded gently. Give it to me then. I was a little shocked, but she looked like she meant it. For some reason, my heart started pounding really fast. I hesitated before handing her the red bean bun in my hand. She took it. Her tone was calm. Thank you. Shen Xingmeng ate my red bean bun. I knew she was just soft on the inside under that cold exterior. During break, I sat in the last row, watching her from far away as she ate the bun and solved problems. I was so excited my blood was pumping. When her desk mate went out for a walk, I rushed over right away. Classmate Shen? She froze for a second and looked at me. Is there something else? Nothing much. Is the red bean bun good? She nodded. Then I asked, can I bring you another one tomorrow? She didn't really want to keep talking to me, but she still patiently turned me down. No need. Okay, I'll bring you something else then. Really, you don't have to go to the trouble. It's no trouble at all. We're good friends, right? You can't say stuff like that. Shen Xingmeng gripped her pen and sighed. She was probably regretting eating my red bean bun. She held back her annoyance and asked me, if you don't have anything else to do, go back to your seat and take a nap. I'm not sleepy. I came here specifically to see you. Just to ask if the red bean bun was good? Not exactly. I stretched my hand out under the desk, looking at her expectantly. Can I shake your hand? We've got the weekly quiz this afternoon. If I don't do it now, I'll miss the chance. The weekly quiz results are out. I got 520 points. I held the test paper, tears welling up in my eyes. I stared at the back of Shen Qingmeng's head. I just couldn't stop glancing at her. I was super satisfied with the result. Ever since that day, I brought Shen Qingmeng water and meals every single day. I always checked up on her to see if she needed anything. I took care of every little thing for her. Shen Qingmeng still ignored me like she always did, but she never stopped me from being around her. I secretly thought to myself, maybe she just acts cold on the surface. She doesn't hate me at all, actually. Thanks to Shen Qingmeng's top student aura, I improved in every single exam. After 2 weekly quizzes, my score went up to 530 points. For the 3rd monthly exam of senior year, I already scored 540 points. After every exam at our school, they put up the honor roll on the wall of the teaching affairs office. The top 100 students of the grade all make it on the list. Shen Qingmeng took first place again with a score of 708. And surprisingly, I landed at 98th place in the grade. It was my first time seeing my name on the list. I touched my name on the poster excitedly. I didn't want to leave at all, but soon I heard a really annoying voice out of nowhere. He's on the list too. No need to guess, that was Wang Lin talking. Yuan must be here with him too. I turned around, and sure enough, I saw him. He was staring at his own name, and he didn't look happy at all. He dropped to 18th place this time. It's okay, Yuan. It's just one mistake. His face was pale with anger. He didn't say a word. He glanced at me. His eyes looked a little dull. He quickly lowered his gaze, turned around and left. My grades improved super fast. I hit 590 points on the 4th monthly exam. Gradually, I felt like my mind was getting clearer and clearer. When I ran into hard questions before, it felt like there was a fog in front of my eyes. But now there's a gust of wind that blows that fog right away. The answers become super clear to me. All the teachers were totally shocked by my improvement. They didn't want to openly accuse me of cheating, so they randomly called me up to the front to solve problems several times. After I solved all the problems correctly multiple times, they finally believed my grades were real. Not just that. Gradually, my classmates' attitude towards Shen Qingmeng also changed. They said my fast improvement must be from absorbing Shen Qingmeng's top student aura. That's why I got better so quickly. So sometimes some people would go up to Shen Qingmeng to ask her for help with problems. She used to be all alone with no one around her, but now there were more people around her. She still acted pretty cold, but she never refused to explain problems to anyone. After the 4th monthly exam, when we picked seats, I still liked my spot in the last row. I asked Shen Qingmeng, want to sit in the last row with me? I'll make you the row leader. She had a cold look on her face and turned me down right away. After I sat down, she moved her desk right next to mine. I stared at her in shock. She ignored me completely and calmly worked on her practice questions. Tiggs, didn't you say you wouldn't come? She didn't even look up. If you have time to run your mouth, you should do more practice questions instead. I'm working on it, just wait. I'll definitely surpass you one day. Sure, I'll be waiting. For a second, I thought I saw her lips curve into a smile, but the smile was gone so fast. I thought I was just seeing things. Before evening study session, Chen Yue, who studied at the neighboring school, brought 2 cups of milk tea to hang out with me. He sat down in Shen Qingmeng's seat, saying he just got his heart broken by a girl recently. When he was done ranting, he asked me, "Hey, what's going on between you and Shen Qingmeng?" I held my milk tea, feeling a little guilty. What about Shen Qingmeng? I don't know what you're talking about. Stop pretending. I already heard all about it. The whole school is talking about it. He narrowed his eyes at me. Are you chasing Shen Qingmeng just to make Wu Yuanyuan jealous? Nonsense, she's not even worth that. Ooh, you're reacting so strongly. I must have guessed right, huh? No way. No. That's not it at all. Just thinking about Wu Yuanyuan makes me feel embarrassed. I crushed the milk teacup in my hand and threw it into the trash can. I didn't notice that someone had paused by the back door for a while, before turning around and leaving. After Chen Yue left, I did 2 more English close exercises. It was almost time for evening self-study. Shen Qingmeng finally came back to the classroom. It was already dark outside. He walked from the dark into the light. For some reason, he seemed to be in a really bad mood. He looked totally gloomy. What's wrong? I asked in a soft voice. Nothing's wrong. He didn't even look at me. He silently rummaged through the bookcase for something. I guessed he probably ran into those annoying girls. It's not the first time they've bothered Shen Qingmeng. I didn't want to get on his bad side. I put a lollipop on his desk and did my exercises quietly by myself. Shen Qingmeng was acting really off. He was absent-minded, and he was totally giving me the cold shoulder, though he barely talked to me anyway. But I just couldn't tell what was wrong. During the long break the next day, outside the academic affairs office, a bunch of students were looking at the newly posted honor roll. Shen Qingmeng was sunbathing on the balcony. He was leaning against the railing, holding English notes in one hand, reading them lazily. The sun was shining on half of his face. His fine hair glowed with a soft halo. I shamelessly leaned over to him, begging him to go check the rankings with me. He looked a little annoyed. There's nothing good to see. There's nothing good to see for you, maybe. I barely ever make it onto the honor roll. Come with me, please. I'm busy. He frowned and turned a page. Come on, let's go walk around. Moving around is good for your mood and your health. I couldn't talk him into it. When an uninvited figure showed up next to us, I turned my head to look and saw Wu Yuanyuan. For once, she wasn't acting all high and mighty anymore. Her eyes were fixed on Shen Qingmeng. She looked like she was trying to figure something out. I had no idea what she was here for. Total buzzkill. I wiped the smile off my face and asked, You need something? Not really. She looked away and smirked at me. I just saw you got 38th in the grade this exam. Came to congratulate you. I smiled coldly and said thanks. I had no intention of chatting longer. Maybe my cold attitude put her off. She hesitated for a second, but still asked me unwillingly, Want to get dinner together tonight? The place we used to go to all the time, back when I had a crush on her. I got to know her through people from class 2 and had dinner with her a couple times. She didn't even like me back then, but now she's inviting me to dinner, just because I'm not the idiot she thought I was. So now she's being nice to me? That's so cheap. No, I'm pretty busy. I wanted to end the conversation as soon as possible. I leaned closer to Shen Qingmeng, close enough to make people misunderstand. I sneaked a glance at Shen Qingmeng nervously. Luckily, he didn't call me out on it. I was kind of grateful. When Wu Yuanyuan saw this, her face froze. She forced an awkward smile after a while. Her eyes looked dim. Sorry for disturbing you. Shen Qingmeng had been acting like a total outsider this whole time, watching my little act calmly, until Wu Yuanyuan left. He said slowly, his voice heavy, Can you move away from me now? I realized what I was doing, and quickly stepped back 2 steps. I'm so sorry. That person just now, I'm not interested. He closed his notebook. I could see he was unbearably annoyed. Can you stop coming near me ever again? You're really annoying. I froze on the spot. I'd never seen him look at me like that before, cold and full of boredom. I was shocked. I hurried to explain. I'm sorry, not just today. Before too. His face was so cold it could freeze over. I just want to be left alone. Quietly. Stay away from me, okay? I'm begging you. I stared at him blankly. Shen Qingmeng, what's wrong with you? I've made myself clear enough. He looked like he'd had enough. Got up and walked back to the classroom. He stopped after 2 steps and said over his shoulder, Also, your red bean buns are disgusting. So my red bean buns were that bad. That really hits me where it hurts. I stood there frozen for a long time. My mind went completely blank. When class started, I went back to my seat. She was right next to me, but it felt like we were miles apart. I wanted to talk to her, but she was busy the whole time. I could barely find an opening. After a really long time, I finally gave up. I thought she'd accepted me this whole time. Turns out that was just my imagination. She was just putting up with me this whole time, just like she puts up with those nasty red bean buns. She likes being alone. She likes her own little world. I forced my way into her world, just to leech off her good luck. I totally ignored how she felt. I was way too self-absorbed. And way too selfish. I didn't talk to her for the rest of the day. I skipped dinner during night study the next day. I sat at my desk working through math papers. Shen Qingming and I hadn't spoken for a day and a half, only by doing nonstop exercises. Can I calm my mind down? There was a commotion in the hallway. I heard the people next to me whispering. Look, is he here for Shen Qingmeng? Obviously, duh. I heard he used to date Shen Qingmeng. I froze for a second. I looked up. It was Zhou Yu. He's a top student at the provincial Key High School, and also the school heartthrob. He's so well known that even I've heard of him. I just had no idea he used to date Shen Qingmeng. There was a soft knock on the back door. Excuse me, sorry to bother you guys. I turned around. That tall, handsome boy was smiling gently. Is Shen Qingmeng here, please? Next to him. I looked so dull and unkempt. I shook my head. She's out getting dinner. He handed me a small box. There was a card on it that said happy birthday. I hesitated for a second, then reached out to take it. Oh, so today's her birthday. Of course, I never really was part of her life. I don't even know her birthday, for goodness sake. How could I even call myself her friend? Her friends are top students and school heartthrobs. Not someone like me. It felt like something stung my chest. It hurt a little. Shen Qingmeng came back during night study. I took out the gift box and handed it to her. It's from Zhou Yu. She looked surprised for a second, then reached out to take it. Her expression was as cold as usual. Thanks. You're welcome. Happy birthday, and I forced a smile. I'm really sorry about before. I was being way too arrogant. I ignored how you felt. It won't happen again. She froze for a second. She gripped her pen tightly. She didn't look at me, and didn't say a word. The wind picked up and the back door slammed open. A gust of cold air blew in. Ugh, this stupid door. I hurried to shut it, and laughed awkwardly. Seeing that Shen Qingmeng didn't say anything, I quietly took out my error notebook and started studying seriously. As soon as the evening bell rang, Shen Qingmeng left immediately. I stayed in the classroom to finish another math problem. Before I slung my bag over my shoulder and went home, there were barely any people left at school. The northwest wind hit my face. It felt like it was cutting me. I thought bitterly, without Shen Qingmeng's good luck, am I going to be stuck in the same place forever? Would stepping on her foot even work? Things are so awkward between us now. I don't even have the nerve to step on her foot. That's so rude anyway. I was lost in thought when I bumped into a wall of a person. I looked up and was blinded by a head of bright yellow hair. Hey, watch where you're going. The yellow-haired guy frowned. He froze when he saw it was me. Oh, aren't you Shen Qingmeng's little shadow? I recognized him right away. He's a troublemaker from the next class. He's always causing trouble. His family has some connections. That's why he's still in the key class. I ignored him and tried to leave, but he blocked my way. He grinned maliciously. Figures, birds of a feather flocked together. You're just like that other freak. You both look like walking bad luck. I couldn't take it anymore. Who are you talking about? Blondie curled her lips into a smile and raised an eyebrow. Can't I say that about her? You're protecting that bad luck magnet that much. I felt a sharp stab in my heart again. I clenched my fists. I glared at her with some sudden unknown courage. Yeah, so what? You think you're real tough, huh? You dyed your hair blonde and act all high and mighty. You ghetto chick aren't even worth Shen Qingmeng's little toe. Blondie's smile faded right away.
Say that again, I dare you.
You're the one not worth her little toe. You want to die or something? Blondie was totally furious and grabbed me by the collar. Footsteps sounded from behind me. A figure ran over to us. Sister Yao and the others are here. Oh, what's going on here?
Did I come at a bad time?
I kept staring at Blondie. I was actually really scared deep down, but I refused to look weak in front of her. If she acted fierce, I'd act fiercer. Blondie glared back at me angrily, gritted her teeth, and shoved me hard to the ground. You're lucky today. After Blondie left with the others, my legs finally went weak with fear. I sat against the wall, still shaken. There were barely any people on the street anymore. Because I ran into Blondie just now, I missed the last bus home. I hugged my school bag tightly and wiped the tears off my face. Click-clack of high heels sounded in front of me. Poor little thing you are. Buy a bread to eat, little brother. I looked up and saw the woman walking with cat steps, get into a fancy luxury car, and drove off quickly. Over a dozen bills fell out of my arm with a rustle. I picked them up one by one and froze on the spot. Wait, that's way too much money just for a bread. You rich people are really something else. I jumped to my feet abruptly, watching that fancy car disappear down the road. I suddenly felt something was really off. Why am I having this weird good luck again? I definitely didn't touch Shen Qingming today. We barely even made eye contact the whole day. Could it be because of Blondie? I'm scared, but I have to test this out again. If rubbing off on Blondie also triggers good luck, then I don't need to bother Shen Qingming anymore, even though I might get beaten up for it. As long as I can get high test scores, I don't care if I get hit a few times. The next day, I kept a close eye on Blondie's schedule. After she left school when evening study ended, I went up and stopped her. "Hey, Blondie!" Blondie froze for a second and looked at me in total shock. She seemed confused how I dared to stop her. "I came to find you today, just to tell you one thing. You're not even worth Shen Qingmeng's little toe." I knew this would make her snap for sure. Sure enough, she grabbed my collar right away, with a super furious look on her face. "Are you out of your mind? Hit me then if you dare. You think I don't dare beat you up? Hit me, go on, hit me." "Ah." Blondie held back her anger again and again, veins popping out on her forehead. Finally, she gritted her teeth hard and shoved me away with all strength. I fell straight to the ground. My phone fell out onto the ground too, and the corner of the screen cracked. "You psycho! I'm not gonna stoop to your level. You're shaking like a little scared chick. I'll let you off today, get lost right now, or I'll beat you up every time I see you." Blondie slung her bag over her shoulder annoyedly. A group of boys walked towards her. One of them came up to her flatteringly and asked, "Sister Yao, what's wrong with you?" "Nothing, let's go." I breathed a huge sigh of relief. I sat under the utility pole still shaken. No way. My phone actually cracked for real. This is so damn unlucky. I knew getting close to Blondie wouldn't bring any good luck. I was being way too dramatic earlier. I looked up blankly at the couple arguing in front of me. The woman sneered at the man. "Love without material support is just like a pile of loose sand." The man walked away dejectedly with red, teary eyes. He turned back angrily after just a few steps, took off his leather boots, pulled off his watch, ripped off his necklace, threw all of them at my feet. "Take them all back." The woman was silent for a long while, cried with a bitter smile on her face, turned around and got into the luxury car, and sped off quickly. I blankly picked up the stuff on the ground, the shiny watch and thick necklace. "Whoa, this is so heavy, wait!" "Is this real gold?" "Blondie, you're such a money magnet." The seat next to me stayed empty the whole next day. Shen Qingming didn't come to school. I had no idea why she was absent, and I didn't know who to ask either. My heart felt just like that empty seat, hollow the entire day. I was in a terrible mood. Gotta take it out on Blondie to feel better, right? Right before the last class, I pushed open the door to class 4. The classroom was super noisy at first. A stranger with a dark look showed up at the door. Everyone turned to look at me, until I pointed at the blonde guy in the last row. "Hey you, the blonde guy. Don't leave after school. Wait for me in the back alley." Blondie was making milk tea just now. He froze when he heard me yell. His cup burst open. Class 4 went quiet for a second. Then everyone erupted. "Who's that?" Daring to pick a fight with Lu Yao. The whole room was buzzing with chatter. Everyone was staring at me like I was a freak show. I glanced around at all of them, turned around and walked calmly back to my classroom. When that class ended, word of my fight challenge to Blondie had spread everywhere. After school, lots of Class 4 students waited around for the show, while I slung my bag over my shoulder and wandered slowly into the back alley. Blondie had been publicly challenged by me. There's no way he could skip it. A few minutes later, he showed up at the alley entrance. A whole crew of underlings followed behind him. He tossed his bag to one of his guys. "Stay here, don't follow me." Then he walked towards me with a dark expression. "Spit it out, what do you want?" "I came here specifically to tell you. You're not even as good as—" "I already knew you were going to say that." He grabbed me by the collar. "I only called you one name, is that really necessary?" I gritted my teeth. "Unless you apologize to Shen Qingming, or I'll come here to roast you every single day." "Are you out of your mind? You really think I'd apologize to her? You want me to beat you up? Go ahead then, beat me." "You think I don't dare." He slammed me hard against the wall. There was a loud thud. I let out a soft groan. I could barely catch my breath. Blondie froze for a second. He shoved me away roughly. He ran a hand through his hair frustratedly and walked out of the alley. After getting roughed up by Blondie, I really started raking in money nonstop. As long as I stick to this golden goose, life will be a total breeze. On the 3rd day, I used the same trick to challenge Blondie again. He didn't want to come this time, no big deal. I went to find him. He was alone after school. I blocked his path. "Hey, Blondie!" "You're here again." "Yep, you're not even as good as Shen Qingmeng's little toe." "Hit me then. Can't be bothered with you." Blondie turned to leave. I grabbed his collar and yelled, "Hit me." Blondie was totally fed up. He was so confused. He pushed me away angrily. I fell to the ground. I stared at him stubbornly. Apologized to Shen Qingmeng? Furious, Blondie punched the trash can over and over. Shen Qingmeng didn't come to school for several days in a row. I was in a bad mood every single day, so I went to challenge Blondie every day. After this went on for a while, rumors started spreading around the school, saying I have a crush on Blondie. I became the school's famous simp, simping for everyone left and right. But I don't care. As long as I can leech off his good luck, I don't care what other people say about me. These days of getting beat up by Blondie, I've almost saved up enough for a house down payment. On the 7th day, the Lunar New Year was coming up. The weather was getting colder and colder. You could see your breath freeze in the air. I washed my hair that morning. I didn't have time to blow dry it. I went to school with wet hair. It was only half dry when I got to the classroom. That's when I saw Shen Qingmeng was back. She was reading a book. I hadn't seen her for days. She looked even prettier than before. She heard the noise from the front of the classroom and looked up. She froze for a second when she saw it was me. It was really quiet around us. I could almost hear my own heart pounding. I hesitated for a moment. I smiled at her. "You're here." She nodded. As a response, I had so many things I wanted to say, but that would just make her hate me, right? So I swallowed all the words back and went back to my seat in silence. The atmosphere was awkward. Shen Qingmeng glanced at me and suddenly asked, "Why'd you change your hairstyle? Is she caring about me?" My heart skipped 2 beats, but calmed down really fast. Her asking this is probably just because I'm not wearing my glasses, so I look weird. I pressed my lips into a faint smile. Just felt like switching up my style all of a sudden. "It looks nice." She lowered her eyes, breathing softly. I asked her, "What about you? Why haven't you come to school for so long?" "Acute appendicitis. Stayed in the hospital for a few days." My hand froze for a second. I looked at her in shock, but she looked totally unbothered, staring at her textbook in silence. I nodded and took out my book. I felt a little empty inside. I really never got into her world at all. I don't have her contact info, don't know anything about her past. Not even when her birthday is. I don't even have the right to know when she's sick. Oh, right. I heard you've been going to see Lu Yao from class 4 a lot lately. Shen Qingmeng suddenly looked at me, picking at the pen cap with her thumb over and over. Hearing that blonde guy's name come out of her mouth was pretty surprising. I didn't think she'd heard those rumors right after she got here. I laughed awkwardly. "Yeah, that's true. I have some business with him." "Stay away from him." Shen Qingmeng lowered her eyes again, flipping through her textbook. Her gaze was clouded over. I couldn't make out her expression. "The college entrance exam is coming up soon. Don't ruin your future over a punk. What was this supposed to be? Advising a lost kid. Didn't she think I was annoying? Why would she say all this?" I had no idea what was going through her head. I didn't dare ask, so I just stayed quiet. "Thanks, I got it. I know what I'm doing." The whole day, things were super awkward between Shen Qingmeng and me. I was in a bad mood. When school was almost over, I went to wait for Lu Yao again. This time he actually bailed early, so I didn't get to beat him up. I felt all restless and annoyed. On my way out of the school gate, a guy from class 4 kindly pointed me in the right direction. "Hey, Brother Jiang." Lu Yao's in the back alley, Brother Jiang. I didn't bother asking why he called me that out of nowhere. I immediately ran off to chase Lu Yao. The back alley was dimly lit. Lu Yao had his back to the alley entrance, talking on the phone. A middle-aged man's voice came from the speakerphone. Sounded like his dad. "Why are you calling me?" "Old man, get me transferred to another school." "Why would you want to transfer out of nowhere?" Lu Yao was silent for a second. "I'm getting bullied." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "Who did you bully?" "Lu Yao lost it." "I'm the one getting bullied. I can't explain this to you, just do it already." He hung up the phone angrily. When he turned around, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. I ran over and grabbed him by the collar. "What do you think you're doing? Where are you going? Please just let me go, I beg you." "I'm begging you, all right?" "No way, I'm telling you. You're not going anywhere. Wherever you go, I'll follow." Lu Yao held it in as long as he could, until he couldn't take it anymore. He shoved me hard. I stumbled back a few steps. My foot slipped off the edge. There were stairs behind me. The bottom of the stairs was piled full of broken desks and chairs. I fell down. There was a huge clattering noise. I had bruises all over my body. It hurt so bad I cried. Lu Yao was shocked. He was about to come over to help, when someone slammed into him and knocked him aside. I looked up in surprise. Shen Qingmeng was rushing over. She stopped right in front of me. Her back was to the street lamp. I couldn't see her face clearly. only the faint, cold mist from her breath drifting away in the light. Are you okay? I think I'm fine. I tried to pull myself up with difficulty, but my foot hurt too bad. I failed once and tried again. Meng grabbed my arm and pulled me up, her other arm wrapped around my shoulder, to keep me from falling. That's pretty much a hugging pose. My ears are ringing. My cheeks are slightly burning. Meng lifts her eyes to look at Lu Yao. Her breathing is heavy. Don't push me too far. I'm pushing you too far. She glances at Meng, then glances at me. She's gnashing her teeth in anger. She kicks the wall hard. She calms down for a few seconds, glances at us briefly, then leaves looking totally frustrated. Her crew is waiting for her again. They crowd around her and ask, Sister Yao want us to beat him up for you. Get lost, all of you! I watch the alley entrance until no one's left there. Meng speaks in a stiff tone. Let's go, I'll take you to the hospital. No need, it's not that bad. I'll be fine by tomorrow. She stares at me. It looks like she has a million things to say. She stays silent for a moment. Finally can't hold it back anymore. Why are you chasing a gangster? I freeze for a second. I meet her gaze. Didn't she think I was annoying? Who I chase is none of her business. Until now, I just realize that deep down I've always been really bothered by her calling me annoying. I lower my eyes and say sulkily, I just want to date someone, duh. It's none of your business. She laughs in anger and frustration. You want to date that bad? Even if he beats you black and blue, it's okay. That's so unfair to him. No, it's not like I get beaten up like this every day. He didn't do it on purpose just now. He's actually not a bad guy. Don't judge a book by its cover. Enough. She grabs my shoulders and shoves me against the wall. Her eyes are slightly red. Jiang Haisheng, how did you end up like this? I've never seen her like this before. I'm stunned for a moment. She stares at me. She grits her teeth. Stop letting yourself go to waste. You want to date someone, right? How about I date you? The alley is so quiet you can hear a pin drop. I swear I can hear our two hearts beating out of sync. She's way too close to me. So close it looks like we're about to kiss, and her gaze is really slowly drifting down to my lips. I stare at her blankly. My heart is pounding like crazy. A security guard's voice comes from outside. Who's there? Both of us freeze. We jump apart in a hurry. Meng avoids my gaze. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me just now. It's okay. I didn't actually catch what you said. I need to go home. I blurt that out in a hurry, then hop out limping. Meng watches me walk away in silence. She only slowly walks out of the alley after a long while. I toss and turn after getting home. I just can't fall asleep. I keep thinking about the look in her eyes back then. We almost kissed that moment. Maybe it was just because it was dark, and she got caught up in the moment. Of course she regretted it once she calmed down. There's no way she likes me. There's no way anyone would like me. I take a deep breath. Hold back the urge to cry. I burrow under the covers and force myself to sleep. After tossing and turning for half the night, I finally fall asleep. I go back to school the next day. Meng arrives really late. She walks into the classroom and sits down in silence, bringing a gust of cold air with her. Neither of us says hello to each other. After all, that super awkward thing happened last night. It makes sense that she's deliberately avoiding me. I try my best not to overthink things. I focus all my attention on studying. The college entrance exam is coming up soon. Nothing is more important than that right now. Dinner time. I don't go out to eat. I take 2 bites of the bread I brought with me. I stay at my seat working on practice problems the whole time. The paper I'm working on tonight is the Jiangsu math exam paper. The last big problem is super hard. The question stem alone is hundreds of words long. I stared at it for ages and still have no clue. The back door is open. People keep walking out. When the last 2 girls walk out, they're chatting as they go. Someone saw Zhou just now. He's here to see Meng, right? Definitely. Who else would he come for? I freeze for a second, gripping my pen, feeling kinda stupid. There's obviously no way Meng and I could ever be together. Zhou around. Why would she ever like me? The classroom was completely empty. I was the only one left inside. I stared at the test paper, zoning out. After a little while, I took a deep breath to calm down and kept working on the problems. I couldn't solve any of them for ages. I started feeling really restless. The more restless I got, the harder the problems felt. I finally got a proper train of thought, only to find my whole calculation was wrong after ages of working. I scratched my head in frustration. I couldn't figure out where I messed up, when behind me, a cool, clear voice suddenly rang out. That's not the right way to solve it. I jumped a little in shock. I turned around and Meng was already standing next to me. She bent down and took the pen right out of my hand. Look, you didn't even use this given condition. Her body practically loomed over me. She held the pen and scribbled fast on my scratch paper. The answer got clearer and clearer as she wrote. I didn't dare move even a little bit. How long has she been here? Has she been watching me this whole time? Do you get it now? I snapped back to my senses and nodded. That's good then. The second question should be easy for you after that. She straightened up, but didn't show any sign of leaving. She twirled the pen between her fingers. She looked straight at me, hesitated for a second, took a deep breath and said, Jiang Haisheng, I want to apologize for how out of line I was last night. I was a little taken aback. I stood up in a hurry, waved my hand pretending to be totally casual. It's totally fine, Didn't I already tell you? I didn't even hear what you said clearly. You don't have to feel bad about it at all. No, that's not what I mean. I'm apologizing because I confessed to you, then bailed at the last second. It felt like a thunderclap went off right inside my head. I swear I couldn't even understand Chinese anymore for a second. What does that even mean? What was she talking about? I figured you must have been really confused last night. So I want to say it again properly. Jiang Haisheng. I like you. Will you go out with me? I couldn't say a word for ages. This weird, bitter, achy feeling completely washed over me. Tears started rolling down my face before I could stop them. I quickly wiped them away with my hand, forced a smile onto my face. What are you even going on about? Is it April Fool's Day or something? Lu Yao came to find me just now. He suddenly said, he told me, you weren't even chasing him. He also told me, the reason you went to see him every day was to make him apologize to me. My mind went totally blank for a second. What is wrong with that blonde idiot? Why did he have to tell Shen Qingmeng all that stuff? Somehow I felt even more wronged all of a sudden. I choked up and said, don't overthink this, okay? I had my own reasons for going to see him. So you're confessing to me just because of that? What is this, some kind of favor repayment? Shen Qingmeng, I thought you hated me. You said I was annoying, told me to stay far away from you. What was that all about then? She stared at me blankly. Her eyes were already a little red. Her voice got softer and more unsteady. I'm sorry. I apologize for all those things I said, but I never hated you, not even for a second. I said those things that day because I thought you still liked Wu Yuanyuan. I thought you were only getting close to me to make her jealous, so she would change her mind about you. I'm really, really sorry. I froze completely on the spot. It felt like huge, crashing waves were in my chest, hitting me over and over again. It was all because of Wu Yuanyuan. That makes sense now. I finally remembered. When she suddenly started acting cold to me, it really did seem like it had something to do with Wu Yuanyuan. That night, Chen Yue came to hang out with me. In a daze, I seemed to see her figure on the glass of the window when I glanced over. But when I turned around, there was no one behind me at all. I thought it was just my imagination. That really was her. She heard everything I said that day, and she's been upset about it this whole time. I looked at her, my eyes already full of tears. I choked up and asked, what about Zhou Yu? He's my half-brother, same mom, different dad. I'm not even really close to him, honestly. He only came to me to ask me to go visit my mom. Then what about you saying my red bean bun tasted terrible? Sorry, that's the only mean thing I said that was actually true. I started crying even harder than before. She was totally flustered and had no clue what to do. I asked her, does what you said about us dating still count? Of course. She gave a self-deprecating laugh as she said it. But you've probably heard this before. Getting too close to me brings bad luck. No way that's true. I pulled her into my arms. You have no idea how much good luck you've brought me. She froze for a second, then hugged me back tight. I didn't find out what happened that afternoon until evening. Turns out when Shen Qingmeng went to meet Zhou Yu, Lu Yao caught them right in the act. She thought Shen Qingmeng was dating Zhou Yu. She got angrier the more she thought about it. She marched over and grabbed Shen Qingmeng. I only called you one bad name, and Jiang Hansheng humiliates me every single day over it. Says I'm not even as good as one of your toes. He won't let me off the hook until I apologize to you, and look at you. You're off dating someone else. Do you think that's fair to Jiang Hansheng? Those were Lu Yao's exact words. I can't even imagine what expression she had when she said that stuff. I also have no clue why she felt bad for me. Did we actually bond after all that fighting? Anyway, after Shen Qingmeng heard all that from her, she decided to go back to the classroom to find me. The reason Shen Qingmeng and I got together is actually thanks to her. I went to class 4 again during evening study hall. When Lu Yao saw me, she tried to hide on instinct. I set a cup of bubble tea on her desk and said, Lu Yao, thank you. She glanced at the bubble tea and pretty much figured out what had happened. She plopped back down in her seat, rested her arm on the desk, and took a casual slurp of the bubble tea. Huh? You're not calling me Blondie anymore. If you like it that much, I can go back to calling you that. Get lost. She's actually a pretty nice person, to be honest. You're a good person. I'm no good person, thank you very much. Lu Yao turned her face away to sip her bubble tea. Didn't want to look at me anymore. I smiled and turned to leave. I walked Shen Qingmeng home after school. At the bus stop, we stood side by side waiting for the bus. Are you sure I don't need to walk you all the way home? No, really, it's fine. My mom's gonna meet me at the bus stop. I'm dead if she sees you. Okay. I leaned against the street sign and sighed softly. It had just rained. There were puddles by the side of the road. A car came speeding down the road. I yanked Shen Qingmeng over to me right away. Water splashed all over the place. Luckily, none got on us, be careful. We were so close, we were almost kissing. My face was burning, my heart was racing, I didn't dare move. Her gaze drifted down and landed on my lips. It was soft and dazed. Slowly, her face moved closer and closer, her lips getting nearer and nearer to mine. A sharp screech of brakes cut through the air. The bus had arrived. I snapped back to reality, hurriedly stepped back and said, "Hurry up, get on the bus." But she grabbed my arm and pulled me towards her. She gave me a quick kiss, then let me go. It was so fast I barely felt it. See you tomorrow. She waved her hand. See you tomorrow. I stood there watching her leave, as the bus got smaller and smaller in the distance, until I couldn't see it anymore. That's how Shen Qingmeng and I started dating in secret. We studied together, worked hard together. After we started dating, I realized something. She actually loves to laugh a lot. When I talked to her, she would always look at me and smile. For the 5th monthly exam, I scored 620 points, landing me 19th place in the whole grade. On the day the Academic Affairs Office posted the rankings, I dragged Shen Qingmeng to come look at it with me. When there were no teachers around, I snuck out my phone and took a bunch of photos. It's my first time ranking that high. I have to commemorate it properly, right? Shen Qingmeng looked a little helpless, but she just shook her head, smiling as she watched me take photos. On the way back to the classroom, I rambled on to her about the dream I had last night. She listened patiently, teasing me every now and then. When we got to the 2nd floor, an unfamiliar guy ran up to us. Classmate Shen? He had his head down, looking super nervous. He held out a letter. "This is for you." Shen Qingmeng had no intention of taking it. "Sorry about that." The guy stuffed the letter straight into her arms, turned around and ran off. It's not like no one's ever confessed to Shen Qingmeng before. But who sends handwritten love letters these days? I grabbed it from her, all jealous. Let me see what it says. Shen Qingmeng looked pretty resigned. Don't read it, just throw it away. I'm gonna read it. I need to learn a thing or two. Shen Qingmeng sighed. She reached for it, but I wouldn't give it to her. We tussled and opened the envelope while climbing the stairs. Dear classmate Shen, seeing this letter is like seeing me in person. Oh, that's so fancy. Stop reading it, throw it away, please. Just let me read a bit more. Classmate Shen, you probably don't know who I am. But that doesn't matter. I really, really like you. Even though everyone else doesn't like you. Even though everyone who gets close to you ends up having bad luck. I stopped in my tracks. My voice trailed off. Even though you forced Mo Yu to jump off the building. The words on the paper felt like swinging sledgehammers, smashing right into my chest. Shen Qingmeng froze, like she'd just fallen into an endless abyss. Don't read it. She snatched the letter from my hand, tore it into tiny pieces. Panicked, she threw the pieces into the trash can. I'd never seen her act like this before. Never seen her hands shaking like that. Who is Mo Yu? Why would that guy write something like that? I froze for a second. I immediately turned around and ran downstairs. I searched everywhere I could, but I couldn't find that guy anywhere. Shen Qingmeng changed after that. It felt like she'd fallen into endless darkness again. When we got back to the classroom, she started doing practice problems like crazy. She didn't say a single word, completely silent. It was like that was the only way she could get a little peace. I didn't push her to tell me anything. I figured she needed some time to calm down. I went home that night. I searched the name Mo Yu on my dad's computer but found nothing. I thought for a minute. I decided to check the #1 high school student forum. I thought I might find some answers there. After scrolling through countless posts by chance, I found the comment section of a confession post that had info about Mo Yu. I read through the comments slowly. I felt more and more suffocated as I read. The entire post was full of vicious insults directed at Shen Qingmeng. I had to ignore all those insults to look for any useful clues. Turns out Mo Yu was the class monitor of #1 high school's top class. Last October, he suddenly jumped off the school building. He landed on the 1st floor awning, so he barely survived, but he never woke up after that. He's still lying in the hospital now. People in the comments said, a few hours before Mo Yu jumped, he told his friend, he was planning to confess to Shen Qingmeng. And right after Shen Qingmeng left, he jumped off the building. Shen Qingmeng definitely forced him to jump. Totally. For all we know, she pushed him off herself. An account named YY posted tons of comments. You guys have no idea. Shen Qingmeng, that girl, anyone who gets close to her has bad luck. Everyone in her class knows that. She looks all nice and normal on the surface, but she's actually super nasty behind closed doors. She always insults guys. All the guys who have ever asked her out, every single one of them got cussed out by her. I looked at all those unfamiliar comments. There was no way I could match that description to the Shen Qingmeng I know. I turned off my computer at midnight. I thought I should ask Shen Qingmeng about it myself. Early the next morning, I went outside the apartment complex where Shen Qingmeng lived. I didn't tell her I was coming. I waited at the gate and watched her walk out, all alone. Her eyes looked completely dark and empty. She was obviously shocked to see me there. If this was before, she would have been super happy. But she just walked up to me and asked, what are you doing here? I want to hear you tell me about Mo Yu. She froze for a second, then gave a bitter laugh. What, you also think I made him jump off the building? No, that's not it. I just want to help you. I really never pushed him. She gritted her teeth. Tears welled up in her eyes. The tip of her nose was bright red from the cold. When I left, he was totally fine. He even told me he wouldn't lose heart. He'd study hard so we could meet at the top. I really have no idea why he jumped off the building, she said, breaking down. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Her gaze grew more and more vacant. Maybe I really did kill him. I'm just cursed with bad luck. Anyone who runs into me gets unlucky, right? Maybe she'd always acted so mature before that I never thought Shen Qingmeng would cry. But the truth is, she's just like me. She's only 17 years old. She feels wrong too. She feels pain too. No, don't say things like that. I pulled her into a gentle hug. I know you didn't push her. I believe you'd never do something like that. Qingbao, stop blaming yourself. I'll always be here for you, okay? You really believe me? Of course. She went quiet for a moment. She hugged me tight, trembling. We finished the last day of classes. Then the Lunar New Year began. The school gave us 3 days off. I decided to do something during these 3 days. I snuck into the #1 high school forum. I asked third-year high school students and found out which hospital Mo Yu was in. On the first day of the Lunar New Year, I didn't tell anyone and went there alone. Mo Yu had been in this hospital for half a year. It seemed many people had come to visit him during his stay. When I mentioned his name to the nurse, she had a knowing look on her face. You're his classmate, right? Yes, I am. He's in room 9 on the 16th floor. Turn left to get to the elevators. Thanks. I carried a bag of bananas up to the 16th floor. There were lots of extra beds set up inside and outside the wards. Most were for family members accompanying patients. I walked past one ward after another, until I reached the door of room 9. It wasn't visiting hours right now. I could only peek inside through the visiting window. On the bed closest to the visiting window lay a boy around my age. I stared for a while before I was sure that it was Mo Yu. He was so much skinnier than he looked in photos. His eyes were closed like he was asleep. You're here. A woman's voice came from behind me. I jumped in shock. I turned around to respond, only to find she was talking to another girl. It's Lunar New Year's Day today. As his good friend, how could I not come see him? Thank you, classmates, for being so kind to Mo Yu. If he knew, he would be very happy. The woman wiped her eyes and continued, but you came too late today. Visiting hours are over now. It's okay, I just need to see him from far away. The girl pursed her lips, looked through the visiting window and asked, Auntie, has Mo Yu gotten better recently? When will he wake up? At this point, the woman couldn't hold back her emotions anymore. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. The doctor said, they don't know when he'll wake up. He might stay like this his whole life. But I really don't want to give up. Is that so? The girl glanced at Mo Yu again, her expression complicated. No one knew what she was thinking. She quickly turned back to comfort the woman. He's a good person, he'll be blessed. He will definitely get better soon. Thank you. The woman choked out. Fox responded to her. The girl put down the flower basket and checked her phone. Auntie, I'll head out now. Take good care of yourself. The woman nodded and sat on the accompanying bed, bowed her head and cried silently. After a while, she was called away by a doctor. I stood frozen outside the window, staring at Mo Yu. He was so young. Was he really never going to wake up again? In a daze, I thought I saw something move. It seemed to be Mo Yu's finger. Is anyone there? I turned around to call for a doctor, but there wasn't a single medical worker in sight. I hurried to press against the window to look carefully, but after waiting for a long time, Mo Yu didn't move again. Had that just been my imagination? I stepped back in disappointment, stayed there for a while, put the bananas on the accompanying bed, and left the hospital. The next morning, relatives came to our house. It was really noisy. I made an excuse that I needed to study, slung my backpack over my shoulder, and went out after my grades improved. No matter what I say, Mom never doubts me. After I left home, I went to a coffee shop near the school and sat for a few minutes. Shenqing Meng came over and asked, "Are you cold?" Seeing me shivering all over, she squeezed in next to me and sat down. I hesitated for a second and asked her, "Xing Meng, do you want to go see Mo Yu?" Her hand froze all of a sudden. "I went to visit him yesterday. I believe he will wake up." "Xing Meng, do you want to go see him?" I heard that even when someone is in a vegetative state, they still have consciousness. He used to have a crush on you. If you say a few words to him, it might help him wake up. If he wakes up, you'll be cleared of all blame, right? Her gaze dimmed a little, but I knew. She actually wanted to go see him. She just couldn't bring herself to face him. Shenqing Meng stayed silent for a long while, then nodded her head. On the last day of the winter break, Shenqing Meng and I went to the hospital together. We just got off the taxi when Shenqing Meng suddenly stopped moving. I looked up. It was actually that girl we saw outside the ward yesterday. She had several people following behind her. That girl smiled smugly, looked at Shenqing Meng and mocked, "What brings you here, Miss Shen?" Shenqing Meng's eyes were ice cold. "What the hell do you want?" I could clearly feel Shenqing Meng's hand shaking. "Qing Meng, let's get out of here." I tugged at her arm, trying to avoid these people for the time being. But those people blocked our way. That woman cut off our path directly. "You think you can leave just like that?" That girl gritted her teeth hard, her knuckles cracking from how tight she clenched them. "You've been hiding for so long. I finally ran into you today. You think I'll let you go that easily?" Things were going south fast. I immediately stood in front of Shenqing Meng to shield her. "What do you think you're doing?" "I'm calling the police right now." "Call the police? Did I say I was going to do anything to you?" She sneered, stepping closer to us little by little. Shenqing Meng said nothing and pulled me behind her. "Hai Xiao, go home first." "Go home? Why would I go home?" I refused to leave. Those people got closer and closer. If a fight really breaks out, there's no way Shenqing Meng can take on 4 people alone. Just when I was burning with anxiety, an electric scooter rode past us. It went about 10 meters ahead, then suddenly stopped. The rider stabilized the scooter with both feet and reversed back to us. "What's going on here?" She got off the scooter, took off her helmet. "Little rebel, what are you doing here?" I stared at her in shock. "Just passing by?" She flipped her hair and stared at the group. "What's up? You guys gonna fight?" That girl sneered. "Mind your own damn business," Little Rebel scoffed. "Your #1 high school brats want to beat up our #3 high school student, and you tell me to mind my own business." She stretched her limbs, threw her helmet aside, grabbed a baseball bat from the electric scooter, her gaze sharp as a blade. "What, you want to test me?" That girl froze for a second. She could obviously tell Little Rebel was a total daredevil, that she couldn't afford to mess with her, so she suddenly put on a smile. "Hey, what's all this hostility for? Who said we were gonna fight?" She looked at Shenqing Meng. "We're good friends, aren't we? Why would we fight each other? You're here to see Mo Yu, right? Come on, I'll take you to him." She acted like nothing was wrong at all, tried to pat Shenqing Meng's shoulder, but Shenqing Meng leaned aside to dodge it. She didn't look embarrassed at all, waved at us. "Come on, I'll take you to see Mo Yu." I couldn't believe how fast she switched up her act. But we were going to see Mo Yu anyway, since she wasn't going to stop us anymore. Of course we were going to go in. Little Rebel was worried there'd be more trouble, so she came along with us. When we got outside the ward, Li Xuan called out Mom Mo from far away. Mom Mo turned around and saw Shenqing Meng. Her eyes went wide and blank all of a sudden. "What are you doing here?" Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Li Xuan turn around and snicker. I was furious inside, and a little worried about Shenqing Meng. But she just pressed my hand down gently, walked up to Mother Mo alone. "Auntie." A sharp slap landed right on Shenqing Meng's face. Her head tilted to the side. A red mark bloomed on her cheek instantly. "Get out! You're not welcome here." Shenqing Meng looked desolate.
"Auntie, I want to see Mo Yu."
"Haven't you hurt Mo Yu enough already? What else do you want?" My heart ached like crazy. I tried to rush over, but the tough chick stopped me. At the entrance of the ward, Shen Meng's eyes were red as she looked at Mother Mo. Her voice was shaking. Auntie, I know you hate me, but I really didn't push Mo Yu, and I never humiliated her either. The day she came to see me, I only told her senior year was coming up, and she should study hard. Do you know what she said? Mother Mo broke down in tears. I don't want to know. Shen Meng stared at her, with a stubborn look on her face. She said she wouldn't lose heart. She would study hard, and meet me at the top. Auntie, Mo Yu is a really good person. I would never push her. And I don't believe someone so hardworking would jump off a building for no reason. If she was conscious right now, she definitely wouldn't want you to hate the wrong person. Please let me see her. Mother Mo covered her face and cried, and finally stepped aside. When we walked into the ward, the doctors were doing their rounds. Shen Meng asked the doctor, "When will she wake up?" The doctor shook his head. Hard to say. The patient shows no signs of improvement so far. The whole ward fell silent immediately. Everyone was in a heavy mood. Only Li Xuan in the corner looked relieved. But soon he switched to a look of righteous anger. It was so fast I thought I'd imagined it. Happy now, Shen Meng. You hurt Mo Yu this badly, and you still have the nerve to visit her. He was so annoying. Even the tough chick couldn't stand him anymore. No noise allowed in the hospital. Do you have any manners? Li Xuan didn't get mad. He stood behind with his arms crossed and kept stirring up trouble. Auntie, she already saw Mo Yu. Just make her leave. Mo Yu definitely wouldn't want this person so close to her either. Mother Mo never wanted Shen Meng here in the first place. After hearing what Li Xuan said, she kicked her out. Can you leave now? Shen Meng paused for a second. Let me say one thing to her. She bent down to look at Mo Yu, who had her eyes closed. Her voice was very soft. Mo Yu, stop sleeping so much. Get better soon, okay? You promised. We'd meet at the top. Don't break your promise! When Mother Mo heard this, she couldn't hold back her tears again. Shen Meng stood up and glanced at me. Let's go. I followed behind Shen Meng. When I was about to walk to the door, I looked back and froze immediately. What's wrong? I stared hard at Mo Yu. Did she just move? Li Xuan froze for a second. That's impossible. He turned back, his eyes wide, full of panic and disbelief. Hansheng, did you really see that? Shen Meng asked me. Yes! She moved again. I yelled as I pointed at Mo Yu. Right after I yelled, the monitor started beeping like crazy. Shen Meng reacted first and rushed out of the ward immediately. Doctor! The medical staff rushed over right away. We all gathered around Mo Yu. A few seconds later, Mother Mo screamed. Mo Yu really moved. We were all super excited. We watched Mo Yu's fingers move little by little, like she was trying to break free from something. After a short silence, she slowly opened her eyes. Everyone was over the moon with joy. When we calmed down, I realized Li Xuan was gone. I rushed out of the ward and saw him running towards the end of the hallway. Qingmeng, Li Xuan ran away. Shen Meng was stunned for a second and rushed out like an arrow. When the delinquent girl saw that, she ran out right after me. Li Xuan ran several floors like a desperate fugitive, but there was no way she could outrun the delinquent girl. When they got to the first floor, the delinquent girl jumped straight down from the second floor stairs, stopped her and asked, "What are you running for?" Li Xuan was shaking like a leaf, forcing a smile. "I just need to use the toilet." "You don't need to run that fast for the toilet. Come upstairs with me." The delinquent girl grabbed Li Xuan roughly and dragged her into the elevator. 16th floor, hospital ward. The second we walked in with Li Xuan, dozens of eyes turned to look at us, including Mo Yu's eyes. He stared at Li Xuan without moving an inch, a strained sound coming out of his throat. She pushed me. Li Xuan almost collapsed to the ground. 2 minutes later, the alarm blared through the entire building. Li Xuan was arrested. She confessed everything at the police station. Ever since she started high school, she had been friends with Shen Meng. But this friend of hers had way too good luck. Privileged family background, pretty appearance, and even better grades than her. Even her own crush liked Shen Meng. She thought she was not bad at all. But she was nothing next to Shen Meng. As time went by, her mind gradually became twisted, and she hated Shen Meng more and more. On the surface, she still acted as Shen Meng's friend. But behind her back, she spread rumors about Shen Meng, saying she was a cursed lone star. Anyone who got close to her would have bad luck, saying she had bad character, that she often secretly insulted the guys who had crushes on her. Last year, Mo Yu came to find Li Xuan, since she was Shen Qingmeng's good friend. So he asked her about Shen Qingmeng's likes and dislikes, and told her that he was going to confess to Shen Qingmeng. Li Xuan knew Shen Qingmeng often went to the rooftop to get some air, so she told this information to Mo Yu, and secretly followed them on the day Mo Yu confessed. At first, she did not have the intention to kill anyone, but after Shen Qingmeng left, she looked at the dejected Mo Yu sitting on the rooftop edge, and for no reason at all, she pushed him off. What happened after that? Everyone knows. Mo Yu was badly injured from the fall and fell into a coma. Everyone assumed Shen Qingmeng was the culprit. They thought even if she did not push him, it was still her fault. They forced Shen Qingmeng to drop out of school. During the days Mo Yu was in hospital, Li Xuan was constantly scared he would wake up, and her crime would be exposed. So she would visit Mo Yu every now and then. She could only sleep after confirming he would not wake up. The day we went to visit Mo Yu, she originally planned to take the chance to humiliate Shen Qingmeng, but she never expected that Mo Yu, who the doctors said had a very low chance of waking up, would suddenly regain consciousness. The truth came out. Li Xuan was already 17 when she committed the crime. According to current laws, she cannot avoid going to jail. A few days after Li Xuan was arrested, we went to visit Mo Yu again. He was in much better condition and could already speak fluently. Before we left, Shen Qingmeng smiled at him. "Get well soon." He smiled too and said, "The college entrance exam is coming up soon. You and your boyfriend both need to do your best." Actually, I was afraid to upset her, so I never revealed who I was. But she actually figured it out. She just smiled. "Wish you two all the best, and thank you. She is really such a nice girl." I nodded and said goodbye to her. When we left the hospital, the delinquent girl hopped on her electric scooter. I said, "Thanks for all your hard work these past few days," she said casually. "What? Gonna give me a good citizen award or something? Wanna get a meal together?" "Nah, I got other plans," I said earnestly. "Stop getting into fights, okay, delinquent girl? The college entrance exam is almost here. Who said I'm gonna fight? I'm going to play ball, duh. You two take a taxi back. My scooter can't carry both of you anyway." She put on her helmet and zoomed off in no time. Shen Qingmeng and I watched her leave and walked back slowly while holding hands. "See? Who said you're a bad luck charm? You're literally a lucky charm. Mo Yu woke up right as you came." Shen Qingmeng chuckled. "Maybe he woke up because of you." "It's definitely because of you." I hesitated for a really long time. I finally decided to tell Shen Qingmeng one thing. "Haven't you been wondering why I suddenly got close to you?" I stopped walking and took a deep breath. To be honest, I realized that every time I touch you, good things happen. So I got close to you to leech off your good luck. But things changed way later on. My voice got softer and softer. "Why aren't you saying anything? Are you mad at me?" He stayed silent for a long while, then hugged me. "If what you said is true, then I'd only feel grateful. I'm so glad I'm the one who brings you good luck. I'm so glad I'm the one who's with you." The evening sun was bright and warm. The spring breeze was gentle. It felt so soft as it brushed past my heart. The first cicada chirp rang out on campus in May. Summer is the season for cicadas. They lie dormant underground for years, totally unknown to the world, hidden from all sunlight, waiting for their own summer to come, waiting to amaze everyone with their first chirp. After my test score hit 640, my progress got really slow. I could only improve by a few points with great effort. Shen Qingmeng said, "Maybe my previous score gains weren't from the good luck he brought me, but because I was slowly getting back the scores I deserved. 640 is my actual ability level, so it gets really hard to improve further from there." I felt a little discouraged, but I soon refused to accept that and kept grinding practice questions. I'd fight for every single point, even just one or two. When the last exam ended in June, I ran out of the exam hall. Shen Qingmeng had already finished his exam. He was waiting at the school gate and spotted me. He opened his arms to catch me as I pounced on him. Late June, the exam scores came out. I got 666 points, way better than I expected. Shen Qingmeng goes to Peking University. I go to a university in Beijing. We both have a bright future ahead of us.